Good evening and welcome to my channel, The Quiet Altar. So I just wanted to come on tonight and share a few things. First of all, I want to thank everybody for subscribing. I've gained a substantial amount of subscribers over the last month, and I'm very pleased with this. And all I have to do is just keep manifesting and sharing and understanding that the universe doesn't always work in my time. The universe works in its own time, and your spirit guides know when you're ready. They know what you're ready for, and they know what you should not be going for at the moment. And so for whatever reason, it's been held off for quite a while until now. So there you go. So again, thank you and welcome. I hope you enjoy my videos, and I hope that you share, like, and if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. So I wanted to just share a few things. First of all, I want to share this book. I don't know if a lot of you have seen it. It's the Psalms of David, and I have two of them. This is the one that I use, and then another one I keep on the shelf because it's in really good condition, and I don't know, because I'm too material and I don't want to mess it up. We all have materialism in our hearts, don't we? In our minds, or our ego, I should say. And so the stuff like this is the material for me. But anyways, it's the Psalms of David, and it's a book where this son took his dad's drawings, who drew and wrote out the complete Psalms of David. And he did it in a very artistic way, and then his son printed those renderings, if you will, and put it in a book. And it's just fantastic. And he explains it. His dad's name was James S. Fremantle, and I'm not sure if it says where they're from. Yeah, they live in India. My father lived in India all his life. His father served in the army there and had originally come from Yorkshire. His mother was of Irish stock and lived a great age of about 108. Wow. James Swan Fremantle was born in Trichinopoly in southern India, and I hope I said that right, in 1859. He had an ordinary sort of education and never had any special art instruction, but he probably trained as an engineering draftsman. His family moved to Bihar in northern India when I was quite young, and he used to paint the scenes he could see from the window of the family home. He too joined the army and traveled throughout the Middle East, storing memories of the landscape, which he later used in his life in the Psalms of David. I do not know much about his first marriage, except he had two children in 1906. In 1906, James Fremantle married Clara, 15 years his junior, and, like him, the parent of two children from previous marriage. My parents' marriage was extremely happy, and father loved Clara devotedly until the end of his life. The Psalms of David was begun at about this time they were married, and he worked on it periodically during their 30 years together. James was not a religious man, but he poured all his skills he possessed into rendering of the Psalms. Because they are such beautiful love poetry, he saw illumination of them as a testament to his love for my mother. Wow. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but let me see if I can read the... My father finished the Psalms of David when living with my sister Lucknow. He died of pneumonia within a year of finishing this book in 1934. So, and this is This is the start of the book. Look at it. This is how the whole book is done. And you can find copies of this on the internet. Some of them are kind of expensive, but I got this one for like $1. So you can find them. But this is how the whole book is written. His dad wrote it, and then he actually put it, published it. And I can't get enough of it. So I read it, I look at it, I absorb it, and I don't know if Mr. Fremantle realized how many people he would bring joy to, even though he wasn't a religious man. Look at his works. And so I just wanted to share this with you. And how creative people can be. Even, they can be creative religiously, even if they're not that religious. And that's how I am. I mean, I'm not like a dogmatic religious person. I'm a spiritual person who leans towards Catholicism and more of on a Gothic spiritual level. And so then that's what I want to share with you. And I think I've shared them before, but I want to share them again. And I'm a collector of antique and vintage prayer cards. The way I became a collector was a friend of mine gave me some of her prayer cards. And just, out of the blue, because that's what old Catholic ladies do. They give people their prayer cards. And I was looking at them, and I got so much joy out of them. And so I started looking them up, and then I started buying them. I bought them off eBay. I would go to garage sales. Wherever they were, I would buy them. And mostly off eBay, because you could get them off of there very inexpensive. And then also, I bought a few off of Etsy. And then I started looking at them, and they really reminded me of oracle cards. They had a message. It was spiritual. And you could use it, as a guide. And so then I was like, well, why don't I make them into oracle cards? And so what I did was I reimagined them, and I made them my own, because you're allowed to do that if an item is over a certain age and it's vintage or antique. It's public domain. That's why a lot of people will replicate famous artist renderings and whatnot not. So there's that. So I didn't steal anything. I didn't use any properties that I shouldn't have, etc. A lot of the cards are actually very unique, and they're not really easy to duplicate, as you can see the one in front of us. So I'm making a series of reimagined prayer cards, and this is my first series. I've had it for a while. I had put it on Etsy, and then I took it down. I had it on eBay, and then I got a lot of sales on eBay for it because I'm selling it, right? And but I got discouraged because this man, he ordered a whole bunch of them from me, and he asked me if I would autograph them, and I was like, well, I don't know why he wanted that, but I thought to myself, okay, he's paying for it, I'll autograph it. And I used a marker, one that doesn't come off. I put it in the envelope, and I sent it off to where he lives. And then he sent me a nastygram on eBay, saying that he could not keep these, that they were toxic, and that he cannot believe that I could send these the way they were. And I was like, sir, the reason that they're like that is because I signed them like you asked me to. If you just lay them out on the counter somewhere for a little while, it'll go away. Well, he wasn't going to have any of that. So I had to completely give back his money, and I never got the cards back. So I just got really disenchanted with eBay, and I took them all down. I put them back up, though, just recently. So I'm revisiting it because my spirit guides and the universe is telling me that it's time again to try this. So I wanted to, the series is the Docile Soul. This is the Docile Soul series of my creations, and my cards are called Tarot by Jackie, and I sell them on Etsy, like I said. So it's Tarot by Jackie, the Docile Soul Collection, and the series is a story, and this first series of prayer cards is a story of healing, of giving it up to the universe, your spirit guide, your God, whoever you worship, letting go, and understanding the difference between spirit and ego. And so the first one is the Docile Soul, and it's a lady with her hand out and somebody, or up and out, and someone is from spirit is embracing her. And on the back of each card is a prose or a poem, if you will. And what I did was I took what was on the front, which is in French, and I forgot exactly what it says, but it talks about, you know, taking the hand from the spirit and letting the spirit lead them. And it says, "What hand is this that arrives in the darkness, bringing comfort to the docile soul? Is it yours, my watcher, you who are with me night and day? What is the protecting hand which dispels all fear? Is it yours, O keeper, soother of tormented, guiding those who seek? Whose hand is this? It is yours, O messenger, observing my every step. I will never stumble when protected by you, and will follow your stirrings. I will practice the will of the soul, leaving the ego behind. I will follow the essence, staying simple, docile, and childlike in your hands." And so that the journey begins for you to let go of the ego and follow the essence of the spirit. Follow the essence of the spirit. The docile soul is asked. That's what the docile soul is asking you to do. And I wrote down some meanings, even though this is mostly like a prose or a poem on the back. And then I wrote down the meanings of each one that I came up with. And the docile soul is this card. It signifies a willingness to be guided by a higher power, an inner compass or divine wisdom, rather than letting the ego control everything. So that's the first one, on the journey of letting go and letting spirit, letting go of the ego. And this is the second card. This is actually the first card I created. I reimagined. It was from a prayer card that I purchased that was ripped. It was ripped, and it had some sort of writing on it, but I still wanted it because it was so moving. And so I was able to go on Canva and fix it. And that's where I do all my work, is on Canva. Now, Canva does have an AI function, and I didn't use Canva for my, I didn't use the AI function on Canva for my prayer cards, because it just came out right when I was in the middle of starting them. It's very recent that they put it on Canva. And so on other projects that I'm working on, I tried to use it, but then sometimes and maybe it's because it's so new, it wasn't really what I was looking for. I liked my own creation, or I would try to put my own creation in AI to ask them, what they thought or whatever, and it just didn't work for me. So I don't use AI on Canva with this series of prayer cards. So this is a silent redeemer, and it says there is strength and stillness. Let sorrow soften you, not silence you. And then on the back, silent Redeemer, guide me now through shadows deep. Transform my heart that I may speak. Grant me strength throughout the day and let my worries drift away. So it's just a little prayer you can say every day on your journey of letting go of the spirit and letting go of the ego and taking on the spirit and allowing spirit to guide you. So prayer you could say every day if you want to. And then I wrote down the notes for the silent Redeemer. It's to focus on the sacred stillness and processing pain, because a lot of times the pain that we have is in the ego, and if we're afraid to let go of the pain, that's when it stays in the ego and it just festers there. It won't let you move forward. It makes you, your life can become really downtrodden because of it. So focus on the sacred stillness and processing the pain. And then, I talk about the text about there's strength in the stillness, and let sorrow soften you, not silence you. Because you have to talk about it. You got to get it out. And, use the moments of quiet or grief for personal transformation. When you go inside, use those moments to transform whatever your grief is. Allow it to transform you into something positive and something good in your life, something beautiful. Rather than letting your emotions freeze or shut down. Yeah, so give it up to the spirit, let it come out, and you'll find strength there. Okay, and then the third one is Saint Sophie, or Saint Sophia. And Saint Sophia, she was prosecuted, and she lived what I would call a very macabre life, and that's what I called this. The macabre life of Saint Sophia, or Saint Sophie. And I don't know if I'm really going to have time to go through all of them, but I will tell you her story. She refused to give up her own beliefs, and then Artemis made her, as her punishment, he made her watch as her children were tortured and tortured and left for DEAD. So, and then she was put in prison. And then after she got out of prison, she went to where her children were laid, and she laid there and she died herself of a broken heart. However, you can call upon Saint Sophia when you need assistance, that love will triumph over evil. So when you need assistance from getting away from the world's ego and the evil in the world, just call on Saint Sophia. And then what I say and as we're moving through our pain and our living through spirit, I say with Saint Sophia, holy wisdom and eternal truth. Sophia traditionally embodies the divine feminine of the essence of wisdom. And this card calls for using your inner discernment and listening closely to the knowledge held in your spirit. And I mean, can you imagine having that happen to you? Just because you don't give up your own beliefs, they torture your children in front of you, and then disappear them or make them go to heaven. And I just can't imagine that. I have to be careful about what I say, because I think there's a lot of stuff that you can't say, and sometimes I just say it because I'm just talking, right? And I don't even think about it. But I got to think about who I'm talking to. Besides you guys, I'm putting it out there, and I guess certain words, aren't very, it's frowned upon. Let me say that. So I was talking away, and then I realized that my phone was telling me that it was too full and it couldn't go on. So I had to get off of here and figure out what to delete from my phone. I still haven't really figured out all that on the phone. like how to keep it from doing that. But anyways, so we were on the life of Saint Sophie, and how when you call upon her, when you need assurance that love will triumph over evil. And then I was saying, you know, how I have to be careful with my words on my YouTube videos and on other platforms, and not say certain buzzwords, I guess. And then that was the third card, and then the fourth card in this Docile Soul series, and you know, the letting go of the ego and living in spirit, is the sweet nectar of the gods. Now there's these four girls. One is back there. I don't know if you can see her. And they are partaking in the drinking of the blood of Jesus. And I know it's kind of bizarre looking, this card, but it's very gothic in my mind and eyes and heart. And so I love it. And they're kind of just partaking in the blood of Jesus. And so on the back it says, "What is this that thou brings me, the sweet nectar of the gods? I shall drink from the fountain to show my devotion. I shall drink from this cup to show my love. I shall consume the blood of the Lamb, and I shall be safe in the arms of the chosen one all the days of my life." And so to me, the chosen one is whoever you choose. Whoever you choose. If you choose to worship a rock, then that's who you're going to speak to and ask for guidance. And so this card, where is it? The sweet nectar of the gods. It signifies divine nourishment, spiritual abundance, and soul replenishment. And so we all have to do that. We have to replenish our soul and keep up with our spirit. And that's what this card signifies with the drinking of the sweet nectar of the gods. It's an invitation to accept the sweetness of life is offering you, and focus heavily on self-care, joy, and emotional replenishment. And so that's another thing. When you're too much in the ego, you're so caught up in the world, and sometimes you're not always taking care of yourself. You know what I mean? Because we're all so busy, and you know, everything it seems like there's 24 hours in a day just isn't enough anymore. You know what I mean? So we have to slow down. We have to enjoy life. We have to have self-care, and we have to re-nourish and replenish ourselves. And that's what this card is about in the series of the Docile Soul. Okay. And the fifth card is the miracles of Saint Francis of Xavier. Now, I just fell in love with this prayer card. Look at it. I don't know if you can see it because it's dark in here. I have all the lights on I can have on, but Saint Francis of Xavier. He was a missionary, and he was born in Spain, and he would go around the world and as a missionary, and on missions. And in 1552, he died in the shores of China, still yearning to share Christ's love. His legacy endures in every missionary heart and every soul awakened by grace. And so you can say a prayer to Saint Francis. "O Saint Francis Xavier, guide us across the turbulent seas of life. Let your courage be our compass and your faith our sail." And this is the meaning of Saint Francis of Xavier card. It symbolizes a profound trust, surrender, and divine intervention during crisis. So we go back to Saint Sophie. During crisis, talk to Saint Francis of Xavier. Talk to Saint Sophie. Talk and ask. Talk to the universe. Talk it out. Ask out loud. This card prompts you to let go of trying to forcefully control difficult circumstances instead of having faith. And if you do that, extraordinary solutions will unfold. So have faith that anything is possible and that beautiful things can happen in your life. And when you're downtrodden, call on the spirits to help you through this. It's all in spirit. Everything you need is right there. And that's, to me, that's the teaching of Christ. Everything you need is right in your heart. It's not at a job. It's not inside your beautiful face. It's not your hair. It's not how much money you make. It's all in your spirit. Okay, so the sixth and final card is the Christ of Peace, a transformation of heart. Now, this card is the most dogmatic, if you will, but I fell in love with the picture of it because I like weirdness. And look how weird Jesus is flying over the city with what do they call that? The stigmata in his feet. And it's a very strange way of depicting Christ, I think. And I don't call Christ Christ because Christ was never a Christian. So Jesus of Peace, a transformation of heart. But I just fell in love with this card. So I hope you guys like it too. And on the back it says, Christ of Peace, or Jesus of Peace, whatever you want to say, may the world find peace, love, understanding, mercy, and transformation of heart. So each one of the cards you can pray on every day. And just go through them and, even shuffle them and see which one comes up for you in that day. And the Christ of Peace, the transformation of heart, pointing towards profound internal healing and reconciliation. And the imagery of the Sacred Heart radiating. See the Sacred Heart. And it's over the cathedral to emphasize replacing internal anxiety or conflict with true and lasting peace and transformation. And so it's the end of your journey. You've come and you have the peace and the transformation that you were looking for throughout the series of the Docile Soul. And so, again, it's the Docile Soul card, the Silent Redeemer, Saint Sophie, Sweet Nectar of the Gods, the Miracles of Saint Francis of Xavier, and Christ of Peace. This is the first 6 cards, the first series in a series of prayer cards. I am working on the second one. I think I have one complete. And because I'm so busy, I got to keep working on it. But anyways, so that's that. I hope you enjoyed this. And because I am marketing for myself, and I'm okay with doing that. These are for sale on my Etsy store, and the link is in my bio. And I want to let you guys know that my first Oracle deck is on its way to me as we speak. I think it's going to be here this week. And I wanted to make sure you all knew that that's going to be like a huge thing for me. And I only got one sample deck. And then I'm going to determine if I want to buy, a mass of decks, or if I want to try to have the deck published by, I think I want to try to get it published with US Games. I don't know how that, well, I do know how it works, but I don't know if they'll accept it. I'm just putting the word out there that the only thing is that once you get published with somebody like that, or a company like that, a corporation, I think you lose all rights to your cards. And that's a scary prospect. After you put so much work into it, you just kind of hand it off, you know. So anyways, we'll see. But I'm going to be featuring it on my YouTube channel. The debut of my Oracle cards will be on my channel, and I will come on and make a short, well, I can't do that because I don't know how to schedule anything like a live or something. Maybe I could do that. Well, I'll figure it out. But anyways, I hope you guys join me for that, because I don't know, it's just something I've been manifesting for years, and I finally started doing it, and I have this deck and then another one in the works. The second one has taken me a lot longer because it's just more detailed. The first one is an oracle / cardomancy, if you will. So it's going to be very interesting, and I'm going to try to do a reading with it, and maybe I'll go live and do readings with it. That's a good idea. So look forward to that, however it manifests, and you know, on my channel. And I like giving readings, so yeah, maybe I can do it live and give readings with it and see how it works. All right, so I just want to tell you all, thank you so much. I'm so excited about where this is taking me, and I hope you like and subscribe, and please visit my Etsy store, and you can see me on Instagram, although I'm not as active on Instagram as I am on YouTube and on my Etsy store, but you don't go live on your Etsy store. I also have an eBay store where I sell collectibles and clothing, and most of the clothing that I like to sell is vintage clothing, what they refer to as Y2K, and you know, like kind of like skater, surfer, streetwear, because I'm and most of my dresses, vintage dresses, are goth, and I do have some of them on my Etsy store. And if you want to go to my eBay store, it is called the This and That 007 store. The This and That 007 store. So that is all for tonight. But wait, let me show you this one thing. A friend of mine, she gave me this. It's a Yankee candle. I don't know how y'all feel about Yankee candles, but I wouldn't buy one for myself because they're so expensive. But it says on there, Mystical Tarot Card Candle. And it's got tarot cards on here. There's two twos. I think that's it. I can't really see what it is. I can't see what it says. Okay, I'll have to look and tell you later. But and I don't want to blow it out right now and get the candle wax everywhere. Anyways, I thought it was so cool that Yankee Candles would make that. I just think it's so cool when I see tarot and oracle in the mainstream of life. You know what I mean? So what I wish for you, and what I pray for you, and what I manifest for you is that you can live in spirit and let go of the ego. And when you learn to do that, everything you manifest will come to fruition. Now, it takes time. It's not going to be magically appear. And then, I think I'm going to start getting more into that and try to, hone in on that idea that, the difference between the ego and the spirit, which I already do anyways. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. That's all you got to do. That's the answer, the secret. That's the answer. That's the secret. And I think I'll, show you guys why I think that in a future video. Okay, again, thank you so much and I'm going on and on. Thank you so much for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like and share. And I'll be back soon. Namaste.